Namaste, happy beings of light, sound, and song. This is Athena StarSeed. It has been a minute since I have been broadcasting, and today I was meditating so deeply this morning. I got woken up out of a sound sleep at 4:30, and I was asked to light a fire and to light the candles and to go and sit just like this with my hands here. And it was almost like somebody pulled a string at the top of my head and sat me very straight for like 2 hours. And I was kind of just like, all right, emptying myself, not a plan, not a thought. And I actually forgot it was solstice today. And when I came out of it, I was looking at the vibration in my reality, and it had shifted. So recently, I've been rejuvenating myself in this sequestered time of inner retreat, and I've been looking at my past. I have been getting rid of things in my house. I'm still getting rid of things. I'm cleaning up the clutter. I'm about to go visit my family again. I had huge breakthroughs last year with my family lineage of doing a lot of karmic clearing. And as I was cleaning, I started discovering all of these little, I call them Easter eggs, these little jewels that are almost a reading in and of themselves. I can receive data from, we all can, when we're silent enough, from a tree, from a crack in the sidewalk, from a crow passing from left to right. There's signs in nature everywhere. So there are things that I found in the last 48 hours in my house, and all of a sudden I got this larger picture. So I'm going to show one of the first things that I found was this, a little sailboat. Now, I think my daughter may have made this. I'm not even sure. But this is a little sailboat that actually floats. And I'm actually going to be going on a trip soon to the water. And my sister sails boats. Now, my sister had told me I have allergies, I might not be able to come visit you when you fly to Maryland, but my love is with you. And we have been really bonding and reconnecting and sharing our favorite books. However, she is a sailor and sails boats. Another thing was my mother's last name is Sailor. Her maiden name. Her maiden name is Sailor. She got married, she changed her name, and she changed her name back when her husband crossed, and there was another Sailor. So I was receiving this boat. I refound a tarot deck that I bought years ago, before actually I was even reading, I would say, The Mystic Journey. So, I mean, this was years ago I bought this, and it's called the Voyager Tarot. It might be backwards here, I think, but the Voyager. So here I found the boat, and then I find the tarot deck of the Voyager. And this is a very, very magical deck. And I'll show you the sacred geometry on the deck is so absolutely beautiful. But after I found it, the card I turned to was clearing. And what was I doing? I was clearing out my room, and I was getting rid of things. And this was the Voyager deck that talked about I'm in the right place right now to continue to clear. And I'm saying that because so are we all. We have had to go back and review all the different journeys that we've taken with our relationships. And our relationships, whether they were rocky seas, stormy weathers, we'd have to get to a point of stillness and calm. And so this boat that I found as I was cleaning my house was about stillness and about being a new voyager. And then the other thing that I found very near after that was this picture that I bought so long ago. I've actually bought this several times in my life. Okay, so look at this. This is kind of our being self, our human self on earth, surrounded in this beautiful purple light. And this is this gorgeous light that's coming down from the heavens, out of this rainbow consciousness into the center of our consciousness, in this pillar of white light, insulated by the purple flame. And they have these snowy white mountains, which is our own inner voyage, our own inner journey that we're sailing through to come back to who we truly are. Okay? So it gets better, you guys. I'm just like reading the signs in my environment, which we can all do. The next sign I got was, this card was just sitting on a desk. It was just sitting there. The whole deck. I don't even know where this deck is, but this card was sitting there, which is sun. And today is the summer solstice, the longest day of sunlight in the year to bring what? Illumination to what? Humanity's awareness of who they truly are in consciousness. And then I find this book, which I bought, I think before my daughter was born. And that's like 9 years ago. And I had lost this book. This book is the call to brilliance. So I have the sun, bright illumination. I'm on the day of 2020, the solstice, the longest day of light on the year. And this call to brilliance. And basically, I met the woman, the author who wrote this book, and she basically had her child surrounded by creative energies, and she didn't put them in school directly. She wanted them to choose and select what inspired them. And so one of her children, I think, couldn't even read until, if I get this right, like 9. And then once everything uploaded and they were in their divine harmony, their brilliance shined out, and they ended up going to college at 11. So they had a huge quantum jump. So as I said again, I'm cleaning my house. I find this sail boat that tells me I'm going to be going on a journey. Then I find the Voyager tarot deck that I had lost. Then I go into my room and I see this tarot card. The sun card today is the solstice. It's pointing to our inner journey into our full godhoodness, our godheadedness. And then I found this book. And this is I, We. And that's where we are right now. We're in the I, We. So humanity and culture and society and religion and all of the different pockets of how we define ourselves. Nationalism. We're all thinking about what's the I and what's the we. It's interesting. I tripped on V because V is like victory. And this pyramid upside down is a V for victory. And the only way that we can really be victorious in this society is to see ourselves as the we. I-we. We are. We are that. We are. And so look at what's been happening. We have harmonically, sympathetically resonated with all those who were suffering with the virus. We saw all of that on the news, and our hearts are opening up. The compassion came out, and we were all acting and enacting our resonance to hold humanity in this time of unknownness and pain and sorrow, and many people transitioned. So we happened there. And then just when we were starting to go back to the single-minded me consciousness, boom, Black Lives Matter comes back on the scene of our reality. Now, where are we sailing? We're sailing back into what does that mean? Again, we go in and tune into what if that were my child? What if that were my brother? What if that were my sister? What if that were my ... And we realize we're all children of Mother Gaia on this beautiful spinning planet. Third rock from our sun, lined up with the galactic center, constantly bringing more light and more light and more light and more light. Now, this leads me to light. So I wasn't sure if I was going to broadcast today, but after my meditation, it was like, okay, get up, go now. And I'm like, okay, I'm not really sure what I'm going to say. We're going to show you. Just pick up everything that you found and start talking, and we'll do the rest. So here I am. I'm talking, and they're doing the rest. And the message really is, can we be in eternal summer solstice? If this is the inner sun that we shine, and the summer solstice is the longest day of that light that's shining, can we bring that shiny illuminescence to every moment, every moment, every moment, no matter what the moment is? The moment is the moment, isness. Our conscious illuminated awareness is our sunshine. And here we go. This is the ship that can sail up or sail down. Do you know what I'm saying? We're constantly, let's imagine our luminosity like tides. So when the tide is high, we're up here and we can transmit this highest conscious light. And then we're coming down because of maybe the TV or maybe society or maybe, I don't know, old fears, wounds. You're coming down, and you're dropping into human consciousness. And then this is maybe your focus, your body. But then when your body can't deliver to you that peace that's required because it's attached to your neurochemistry that might have you trapped in a looping emotion that's leaving you in nowhere land, you come up to this sunlight illumination and up the boat goes back. And the consciousness starts to trickle in. And then you see yourself. See this? The little innocent child riding the symbolic white horse, which is, purity, purification, righteousness. And there's this red flag here that's like, yes, we are incarnate. We are that made of blood and flesh, and yet we are the light. And yet we are the light. And yet we are the light. We are the light. We are the light. So I want you to know that it's getting brighter. It's getting brighter. It's getting brighter. It's going to continue to get brighter. And when it gets brighter, sometimes what I've found when I'm cleaning my closet is if the lights come on, in fact, we had to bring a light into the closet, you're going to see things that you might not like because there's a big bright light shining on it. However, once you can see it and you can accept what it is, then you can make a decision on what you want to keep on your journey into your higher awareness and what you're ready to let go of. So, toxic relationships, things that no longer serve you, toxic thought forms, toxic habit patterns, right? Things in our diet we can let go of, things in our emotional response we can let go of, so that we can start to come back to being able to have a choice and refocus our light and then cultivate our light. So there's many ways to cultivate your light. First and foremost, meditation, of course. Imagine having access to 1,000-watt halogen lamp, right? And when you have no mind, let's say the mind is like plugging in like 6 iPhones to one battery. It's going to drain it really fast. And then there's no reception. When you're thinking too much, you're draining that energy where you can empty the mind and use it to say that again. They'd like me to say self-cultivate. You're self-cultivating the light. And it's coming in a fountain. It's coming in a fountain. And in that fountain energy, that white light expands. And then in the moment, you shine that light on whatever's present. And then you have instant cognizant abilities to know exactly what to do. So I have been recently holding in my field in this other altered kind of state of emptiness, light thought wishes. And it's not something like I really want, but I just like had this light thought like, oh, I'm teaching my daughter how to spell. And we've been watching all these spelling bee movies. This is just an example of what I'm pointing at. We're watching all these spelling bee movies, and in one of the movies, this guy makes these 5,000 word 3x5 cards where it's like where it comes from, the origin, how to use it in a sentence, and the spelling of the word. I was thinking, God, I wish I could just buy something like that, or I wish I had access to a dictionary that would just show me all the suffixes, all the prefixes, and all the root words, and then I could like look up all of that so that she can see how you make words as puzzles, like pro or Sion, you know what I'm saying? Or or ed, redo something, or educate it, so I was like, what? I barely hold the thought. And literally, as I'm walking into my healing room, right over there in the bookshelf, I find this book. It's a very old book. It's an ancient book. I don't know how it got into the house. It's not my book. Inside of this book literally are exactly what I asked for. I mean, exactly. With all the endings, you can just pick out any ending that you want. Like, let me see here. Oh, and here's what they do is they actually rhyme. So this actually isn't even a spelling book. It's a book on rhyming and poetry, yet it has everything that I had wanted for her to study so her skills would get better for the 4th grade. So here's what we have. I mean, we have like breeding, conceding, exceeding, feeding, God speeding. I can't even make this stuff up. Can you see it? God speeding right there. And that's what we're talking about. We're talking about God speeding. God speeding up in oscillation, allowing our sailboat consciousness to get into the highest seas of illumination that we allow. So this book got discovered. I barely held the thought. Now, the other thing I was thinking also too, because I've been underground a little bit because I was like, okay, angels, guides, what is the most important thing? And I was hearing mother. The divine mother, to be one with the mother, to be one with the earth, to be one with nature, to be mothering, to be a good mother. And so I withdrew my energy and I went under and I was paying attention to every little mothering thing that I did. Very aware. And I am reading a very magical book to my daughter called My Name is Mahata. And I was thinking, it'd be great because that's a really esoteric, juicy spiritual book where this little girl has these wisdom keepers and sorcerers and soothsayers that help her evolve spiritually. But it's very, very highly esoteric. So sometimes she's so into it and other times she's like, boop. So I said, it would be really nice to see a fairy tale book where I could like take her through some of the metaphors of the fairy tales and link it to the consciousness. You're not going to believe this. I found this in the same shelf, this fairy tale book. Hey, Reverence, I got to show it to you. Because it's like the most amazing book. So let me show it to you. Let me take you with me. Reverence, can you do me a favor? Can you bring me your fairy tale book that we found? Okay, bring it back in here. I'm live broadcasting, all right? Okay, so she's going to bring it. So you can see the veils are really thin right now. And if you're at all awake, your magic is really, really high. Your magic is really high. And what does that mean? That you're responsible to think the highest thought. Come here. Can you say hi? When did we find this? When we were cleaning. And did you see this before?
Not that I remember.
I know, I don't remember either. But here, look at how cute this book is. All these little fairy tales. And it says, wow, us born. Okay, now look at this. I find codes everywhere. For example, Dr. Seuss is Dr. S-E-U-S-S, see us. S-E-U-S-S instead of S-E-E-U-S. They flipped that. But he was an awake cosmic cartoonist that was actually a political cartoonist. And he was putting all these downloads into the fairy tales. There is a sign and a symbol in everything. And if you talk to the Kabbalistic tradition, they'll tell you it's all based on sacred math, sacred geometry, and numerology. Look at this. This book here about the fairy tales is called Us Born. Us, U-S, look at that, B-O-R, and then they put an E on it, Us Born. So, illustrated fairy tales, Us Born, are illustrated fairy tales to live what? Happily ever after. Happily ever after. Happily ever after. So why is it important now? Why is it important now to think your higher thoughts? Think your higher thoughts. The messages are around you. What you think, you're materializing. You're materializing. So, okay, proof of that. besides all this, if that's not enough, to say, wow, this is magical. I'm going to do this too. I'm going to talk to my angels every day, and I'm going to say, show me something. And it'll be poop, right there, like a clamshell, giving you the pearl. So my angels woke me up. I lit all the candles. I lit the fire. I sat in a meditation. I was emptying my mind. I was expanding into what was. And at 7 o'clock, my alarm goes off, and I got a call from another country that I had a reading at 11. So then, boom, a magical reading pops in on the Saturday. So I want to speak to when you're trying to do something in an old way. All right? Let's say 2020 is new vision, new dimension, new ways of thinking, new possibilities. This summer solstice is about looking at how we can reboot from this point forward of light, more light, more light, more light, and more light. To think lighter thoughts, to have lighter behaviors, to let go of extra weight, to detox our closets and our homes and our clutter and our emotions and like all of our to-dos. We want to lighten that energy up. And when we do that, our manifestation skills are instantaneous. Sometimes we don't even know what we need, and then it appears to us. Although I usually can trace back a thought, so I can kind of, there's like these little golden strings that open up in my consciousness. And if, let's say, I'll give you a good example. A good example is I'm getting ready to go on my trip out of town with my daughter. And I was thinking, oh, it'd be so great to get her a new bathing suit and myself a new bathing suit. Maybe I'll go to Target and I'll pick up some things, right? But then on my conservative side, I was like, let's just wait for a minute. All of a sudden, I get a phone call, maybe a day or two later. Somebody calls me randomly, hi, we want to know how you're doing with COVID. We're representing Target. We'd like to give you a $250 gift certificate to Target. And I was like, what? Yes. In fact, if you're watching this on my Facebook, I will put the picture, because I took a picture of it. You get a little barcode and you can just go shopping. And we both got bathing suits. And I actually was so happy to get my dad a Father's Day gift, which is a surprise. It's being mailed to him right now. So by the time I get there in July, he will have this beautiful Father's Day gift. However, I held the thing in my mind. Randomly, the universe found somebody to offer it to me, and then I received it. So in this new time, what's coming through is do not get solidified on one specific narrative, any one genre that makes you feel like your sailboat's going down to low tide and that you could run up on a beach and get stuck in the muck, right? You don't want to get stuck in the muck. You want your sails to blow beautifully, and you want to rise with the tides, and you want to sail on the seas, and you want to realize that even though you're the captain of your own ship and your own soul, your own spaceship, that the ocean actually has majesty and consciousness that we will never be able to cognitively digest in this human thinking mind and articulate. The Sufis say it's beyond words. The mystics say we can't put it into any type of a language, except for possibly light, a light language. So this sailboat is saying, enjoy, enjoy, you will see the light of God. Enjoy. Enjoy, you will see the light of God. The light of God. God, not as a personified being, but God, the God that's good in all things. The God that's never beginning and never ending, that ignites every spark of every spot of life in all dimensions, through all time, through all space, through all sacred geometric mathematical patterns, known and unknown, understood and inconceivable, ineffable, that the light has good news for each and every one of us. And it is our divine responsibility to tune into that higher light, to tune into that higher light. And then when we hear those still small voices, those subtle pulls, those energy intentions, that we take action. I'm going to say, take action. Take action. We have the ability to take action because when we were trees, we would just have to receive the energy and keep transmitting like antennas. We couldn't just walk up and move. You know what I'm saying? Because trees have roots and they're planted. We are the walking trees of the earth. We can actually hear a thought or feel a thought or listen in and then immediately take action, right? So what is coming through for you in this review for this summer solstice, right? It's in an eclipse. You got Cancer and you got Capricorn and you got mother and father energy, and you're looking at how to mother and father yourself and how to mother and father God ourselves and mother and father good ourselves. We're goodnessing ourselves. We're dipping ourselves in honey goodness, in the bright light of love, so that we can stand in this type of illumination. The light begins to purify. The light changes molecular structure, even in our basic sciences. You know, if we take a pot of water and we heat it up, it changes form, right? We are changing form. We are changing from materialists, only identifying with the material that you can see, smell, taste, touch, feel, into I want to say something higher than spiritualists, because it spiritualists has energy around it. Okay, they're showing me another vibration called like photonists, like photonists. If there was a consciousness that would be sitting in the light, studying the light, receiving the light, being with the light, so that it's universally applicable. It's universally applicable. It's not something that you have to believe in. It's something that you experience. You just pull the awareness into your field, light, right? Even if a thought comes in, you can apply it to anything. This thought comes in. What's a brighter thought? What's a brighter thought? What's a brighter thought? What's a brighter thought? What's a brighter outcome? What's a brighter outcome? What's a brighter word? What's a brighter word? What's a brighter action? What's a brighter action? I mean, there's a constant, okay, they're showing me now. It's so beautiful. This is so beautiful. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this vision. Okay, imagine you're in Hawaii and the biggest crazy wave is like 100 feet high, and it's like, you know, and you're like surfing on this wave, and the wave is golden light. So you're on your little surfboard and you're surfing this huge 100-foot wave, and it's right about to curl, and you go into the little tube. You know that little tube that those surfers go in? And that energy's spinning, and that light is spinning around you, and it's also moving you forward. So the light is spinning around you and moving you forward as it's going like this. Like that's what the waves do. So a photonist, a scientist that studies light, like we can be little light scientists where we're imbuing the light and we're increasing the light and we're leaving the light where the light is absent, right? Turning up the light. And you can also, which is really cool, you can just send little spurts of light. So I want you to imagine there's like a big golden honey pot in your heart chakra, and there's somebody who's sad. Like right now, everybody, let's just do this and you'll be able to feel the energetics so we can use it as an experience. Imagine a little honey pot, a round little honey pot of light, and imagine that you're able to energetically scoop the light out and stream the honey to the person that you want to think about. So let's all pick a person right now. I'm picking a specific person. I have a beautiful friend in mind who's been very sad. Today she was very sad, and I'm going to think of her. I'm going to send the light to her. I see where she's at. I see where she's oscillating. I'm going to send this golden honey light to this person, and then I'm going to wrap the honey light around them. So you do it for your person. Now let's cradle them. Let's imagine that they're this big. Let's cradle them in this honey light that we sent to them out of our heart to their heart. And now let's expand the honey light. Now everyone that they're connected to, imagine like little tiny streams of golden light coming out of them. And everyone that they're concerned with, imagine you have enough light to go through them, out in 360 degrees, rays of light connected to all the people that they love. And then all the people that they love, and then all the people that they love, and then all the people that they love. And now there's this golden grid of sacred geometry all over the planet. Sending every being on the planet through the being that you're thinking of, pouring through cosmic love and light from you to them, to the other many me's, to all of the beings all over this beautiful globe. And allow Mother Gaia, see her as a beautiful being wrapped in this blanket of golden souls, loving this beautiful summer solstice day and increasing the light, so above, so below, so within, so without, so without, so within. Now let's close it in like this. This is the Anjali Mudra. Put your hands here, right over your heart. And let's seal the memory in our third eye and in our heart for all of infinity. Allow this golden light to penetrate all wounds, all sorrows, all grief, all death, all wrongdoing, all error in consciousness, and bring in the awareness that everything is evolving on its own accord, and it is good, and it is governed by Mother, Father, God, and that inside view of us will be penetrating this reality. Inhale. Hold your breath. Squeeze the root. Squeeze the second. Tilt the chin down. Tongue to the roof of the mouth. Exhale. Okay, so they're showing me the bees. Zzz, I'm hearing a buzzing sound, and they're showing me little honeybees. And they want us to be reminded that when we see a bee, that the bee has access to make the honey. By allowing nature to alchemically create with it. So we imagine that we're the bees and nature is the flowers. When we nourish nature, nature nourishes us, we have the ability to make honey. So to return to your divine nature is the greatest voyage we're going to have in this incarnation. And it's worth sailing in, especially when you're sad, especially when something doesn't go the way that you thought it was going to go. And I'm so sorry if anybody's suffering right now because you had this thought and it didn't happen and something else is happening. But what I can say to you is it's happening for your own evolution and your own inner divine expression, because you're about to see yourself in the highest aspect of God's divine light. And that is worth it. This whole incarnation is worth it, to have the breakthroughs. Here's Ganesha behind me, which says we are breaking through humanity. You and I are one. We are breaking through. When I clean my closet, somebody else is cleaning a drawer. I know that that's happening. When I find something about an inner voyage, somebody else is maybe seeing a penny on the ground and thinking pennies for heaven, and they're having a loved one that passed away say, hey, psst, I'm still with you. I'm still with you. And the presence is felt, and the healing continues, and the consciousness expands. And we realize that we're in these very subtle dimensions. And just because we can't see it doesn't mean it's not there. And so when we tune into these higher receptions, it's easier to see that everything really is going to be okay, humanity. Everything's going to be okay. More than okay. More light and more light and more light. We are in our cocooning phase, and humanity and societies are turning into the flight of the butterflies, migrating into the highest aspects that we can image with our consciousness. So, happy summer solstice. Do something sunny today. Go outside, play, have a smoothie, put some new patterns in, look at some old patterns, let them go. This is the time to write things down, to really accept what is and then let it be, and reparent ourselves, right? Your mom and dad did the best they could. Now reparent yourself. Now you be the best mom for you, and the best dad for you, and the best parent for you, and the best parent for your children. And sometimes we play into the parent of our clients or the parent of our friends, and it's okay, because nurturing nature will take care of itself as a whole wherever it needs to be. So sometimes, if you didn't have a present father, over here, if you're open, the energy of father will pour through, and you'll meet an older father figure that starts to love and nurture you, and you can see father everywhere. Same thing with a mother. Another woman will come in and she'll nurture you, and then you'll get that mothering energy. And so nature's always coming back to complete itself. All right, so continue to shine your light. I love you so very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being who you are. If you're watching this on YouTube, please subscribe. This is Ask Athena Intuitive Readings. And those of you who would like to have a soul reading, you can get a hold of me at AskAthenaIntuitiveReadings.com. And that's what I'm here for. Blessings and light and love to you. Have the best day ever. Best day ever.